Hello, Play the Game, this is Rowan here with my breakdown for the latest trailer for Borderlands, the pre-sequel. So first of all, the new characters that were released in this trailer. First off, we can see Moxie. This isn't actually that surprising, as Moxie did dump Mordecai for Jack in the past, so she'll probably feature as his girlfriend for the majority of the game. It's also especially interesting considering that Nisha ends up being Jack's girlfriend by the time of Borderlands 2, so there's the potential for a little love triangle perhaps. Maybe Moxie starts off as an ally, handing out missions, and then switches sides at some point, and you have to hunt her down for her treachery, something like that. It also opens up the possibility of the return of Moxie weapons, which will definitely be welcome. In fact, they might have already featured in the trailer. This ground point seems to be creating hearts, and that definitely looks like a Moxie kind of effect. Next up, we can see Lilith, and to be honest, I'm not exactly sure how Lilith fits into this, as what's she doing on the moon? Maybe she features as an enemy NPC, organising the lunar anti-Hyperion resistance before they can establish the moon base. Next, he's not exactly a new character, but we get our first look at handsome Jack when he's still, well, handsome, and he's wearing a Hyperion t-shirt rather than his nice snappy suit. Also considering the fact that he hasn't been horribly disfigured yet, maybe we'll find out how he gets his scars in this game. And finally, a damn fancy Claptrap skin. Next up, the legendary loot that appears in the trailer. We get to see 3 legendary items that appear throughout the trailer. The first one is this legendary bandit pistol. Now, I know it looks like the Gub, but don't worry, the Gub's not in this game, thank goodness, because they're just reusing the bandit legendary pistol skin. We can see from the weapon card that it is ice elemental, whereas the Gub was only corrosive. It has different red text and a bonus effect, which increases loot drops for some weird reason. So don't worry, the Gub's not going to be in this game. This is probably going to be a lot better. Here we can see Athena holding a laser with a Varrock skin, and if 2K are at this point using skins as placeholders, we are looking at the legendary Dal laser. And if the subsequent shot in the trailer is related to this laser, which it could very well not be, this legendary fires bursts of 5 laser beams at a time, the pitchfork of laser weaponry. Finally, we see Athena wearing a legendary engine shield, although there's not much we can speculate about it at this point. On the subject of lasers, we see a huge number of different lasers from the different manufacturers appear in the trailer. Here we can see a white Dal laser being held by Claptrap. Here we can see a bandit laser. This one I'm honestly not so sure about. The colour scheme, the reload animation, and the sight scream Maliwan, but the weapon itself doesn't follow their design style. Maybe it's a Hyperion laser, but I can't really be sure at this point. Here we see a blue rarity Tediore laser. Now this laser looks like a proper Maliwan weapon, it follows the art style a lot better. Here's a blue Dal laser, and there's another Maliwan laser. Also, this probably means nothing, but at this point I've yet to see any launchers in the game. Maybe lasers are replacing them as a weapon slot, but honestly I can't say for sure. We get some looks at the new vehicles in the pre-sequel, which are the hoverboard, which is interesting because normally vehicles are limited to their own spaces in the map, but the hoverboard looks like it's small enough that it could fit into infantry based areas as well, which would definitely be an interesting design mechanic, and the moon buggy, which definitely looks like a more traditional Borderlands vehicle. We also get a brief look at Athena and Wilhelm's skill trees. Athena's one has already been released in previous trailers, but we get a lot of new Wilhelm skills to look at. So the first one is his middle skill tree. Mana Machine, which boosts your shield and health for both you and Wolf, which will help for survivability. Targeting Scope, which is a kill skill that boosts crit and accuracy, which I think could be very powerful in the right hands. His first game changer is Power Fist, which is a melee override that releases an explosive punch. Personally, I don't think, however, that Wilhelm will be a successful melee-based character, because Royal Shields are very important for melee damage in Borderlands, and his action skill releases Saint, which will constantly charge his shields in a similar manner to buck up, so I don't think Wilhelm will be able to make effective use of this game changer. It'll probably just be a more similar to Salvador's Uppercut, where even though it's a melee override skill, it's not used for pure melee damage, but more for stunning or knockbacking enemies. Then there's the second game changer, which is a lot more promising, Shock Absorbers, which allows Wilhelm to shoot while sprinting and gives him a plus 25% weapon damage while doing so, which really strikes me as a huge change to how Wilhelm characters will be able to play, because they'll be able to be a lot more aggressive to be able to shoot while sprinting and just charge in and reposition themselves on the battlefield and really be a proper run and gun kind of class. emergency response, which triggers when a shield is depleted, and boosts fire rate for both him and Wolf, as well as reload speed. Now, unlike previous Borderlands shield depleted skills, this actually has a limited duration, which I think is probably their reaction to the Rough Rider constant activating stuff like Fleet. So it has a limited duration, and it also has the Nova limitation that Wilhelm shields must fully recharge before emergency response can be used again. So it shows that they're really learning from past mechanic flaws, let's just call it that. Then there is Divert Power, which also triggers when shields are depleted and Wilhelm is at low health. Taking damage gives you a small amount of health regeneration and damage resistance. So that's going to be very helpful for tank classes, because say if you're under health gate, Divert Power can kick in and get you over health gate and help you resist some damage. So that looks like a pretty good skill as well. The final skill they show just short of that capstone, which is pretty annoying, but it's called Welcome to the Gun Show, and it's basically Wilhelm's version of Axton's Ranger skill that it boosts a wide variety of stats, but no spectacular improvements. Then we get to see only 2 skills from Wilhelm's right skill tree: Dreadnought, Auxiliary Tanks, which boosts cooldown and duration, a fairly useful skill. I think that's a well suited spot for the first tier, and Fortify, which increases damage when Saint is active, and you and Wolf get increased health, which I think will be pretty useful because Saint's active gives Wilhelm the ability to resist damage and increase more damage of his own, and if Wolf has more health, then he'll be able to stay on the battlefield for longer. So overall, it looks like Wilhelm's going to be mixing the tankiness of Axton, the Bloodwing of Mordecai, and the backup of Gage. So overall, he looks like a really interesting character, and at this point, he's probably going to be the first one I choose when I get Borderlands the pre-sequel. And the ability to shoot while sprinting and that 50% critical hit damage, he looks like he's going to be a very fun character to play with, so I'm looking forward to him. Also, in terms of skills, we know that the first skill point is going to be unlocked at level 3, not level 5, and that in this shot Wilhelm has 48 skill points to spend, so the initial level cap looks like it's going to be 50 once again. And with the new mid-tree game changer only requiring 1 skill to level up to this next tier, at max level, a character will be able to reach 2 of their capstones, which was impossible in Borderlands 2, and with 3 points to spare on top of that. So there's going to be a lot of very interesting builds for most of the characters, because they can get a lot of their more powerful endgame skills. Finally, it wasn't revealed in the trailer, but it's been announced by Gearbox that pre-ordering the game will give you exclusive access, until the inevitable DLC release, to the Shock Drop Slaughter Pit. So that has been my breakdown of the most recent Borderlands the pre-sequel trailer. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, feel free to leave a like and subscribe to Play the Game Central for more. Thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.